Welcome to Marcor Studios, where here we will be interviewing different industry professionals and educating our homeowners as well as the industry as a whole. Hope you enjoy the show. Good morning and welcome to Marcor Studios. We are here today with Susan. Susan, tell us what you do and where you're from.
Yes. So Long Island, here I am. I own a business consulting company, which people are like, what does that mean? What do you do? We actually just solve problems. So when it comes to owning a business, running a business.
Lots of problems.
There's lots of problems. And I wish I could say that my day was filled with like fun things, and it is, but every single one of them, like nobody comes looking for me unless there's something that's wrong. Yeah. So, my biggest asset to a company is just helping to find the root cause of the problem and clearing that out of the way so that we can get a solution in place. What I think we do exceptionally well that other companies really don't focus on is actually seeing the idea bloom and flourish. So it's one thing to get a clear plan and a clear plan of action, but it's useless if you can't implement it.
Yeah.
So we really pride ourselves on being a huge part of the implementation process and all of the things that get in the way of people being able to do something, even when they want to. Because a lot of times our bodies aren't even in alignment with us.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of resistance to change.
People like us, like yourself and me, that we thrive on the chaos. We thrive on the problems and the things that we want to be able to.
It's kind of why we're here.
Yeah. So, talk to me about business growth. Obviously, there's opportunities for companies to grow. Companies always want to grow. What kind of advice do you have? Where do people start? What kind of challenges are you seeing people having? What are mistakes companies are making?
Yes. So this is like a great time to be having this question. And when I thought about like how to prepare for this, I really wanted to connect it to AI for everyone as well, because I don't want you to just hear from me. I want to give you things that you can actually take and do. So everything that we're going to talk about, there's an actual AI prompt that we use with our clients that we're going to give your audience so they can solve some of these problems for themselves too.
I love it.
So under the heading of what's the biggest one, it always starts with you. So at the core of every problem or at the core of every solution is a better way to think about it is how do I change how I'm viewing something, my own point of view, how I'm experiencing it, how I'm viewing it. Am I educated in this particular area? I think in particular for trades and every organization, you build a company that you're really good at.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you've had the proper training, the education, the structure, or even the mindset to deal with the 75 things that have nothing to do with what you do.
If you think about even, I tell my team all the time, I'm like, yesterday we had a meeting and we were talking about, they were like, hey, we come to you, any roofing answer, any sentence, you have every technical answer for us. I go, yeah, when it comes to technology, I'm an IT idiot.
Forget about it.
Marketing is not my specialty. So it's like you have to have the ability. And while you have these teams, the AI component, anybody who owns a business that doesn't say that on one of their screens that AI is up or some sort of anything isn't running their business effectively at the moment.
And they're working too hard. Yeah. Right? So like as a small business owner, I'm a small business owner, you're a small business owner, right? You wear so many of the hats. So sometimes you are marketing, you are operations, you are the IT person, and you just simply can't know all of those things. Nope. And it's very costly and really not your purpose to go learn them. So AI has become the thing that is the game changer or the level setter. So us in a big company, you have heads of divisions that are correct, that are trained, that are educated. This is what they do for a living. We're kind of signing up to say, okay, I'll give it a shot, right? I'll figure it out. I'll find someone that's going to help me.
I feel like we're as small business owners, we're the humans. We're not. I'm referencing this to more of the home inspector type of mentality. Yeah. Of as the owner, you know your trade, right? So I know roofing, I know solar, I know siding, I know everything that we do inside out. Yeah. But it's the ancillary things of owning the business that I refer to almost like as the home inspection, where it's like, you know a little bit about a lot of things. You know a little bit about marketing. You know a little bit about IT. You know, or maybe you got a little bit more about, maybe like for me, my background's in finance, so I knew a little bit more about finance.
Exactly.
But you have to know your trade, but to be able to get those little bits of things like, if you're buying a house and there's a problem, the home inspector says, all right, well, this doesn't look right. Let's call in the professional.
Exactly.
Where you're just trying to balance as a business owner, trying to do all of these things while you are not a jack of all trades, where as a business owner, you kind of have to be.
Yeah.
But the trade itself, you have to master.
Exactly. And that, or you wouldn't even have a successful business,
Correct.
right? So like if you don't have that part, you don't even have a business to start with. And then growing that business means three things. So this is what we're really good at with our clients is we love baseline assessments. So how do you know where you're starting from so that we can measure your progress over time? So we have in our company actual assessments that measure financial acumen, that measure your mindset, because that's going to be the hugest indicator of how will you manage and process stress, which influences your team, your buying decisions. It influences everything. So you have to understand, where are you on that journey? Where are you from kind of the financial acumen piece? And then obviously there's your technical ability. And then on the other side, it's being able to be in that front end marketing and sales space.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the four pillars. And in our company, we have just a baseline assessment. So we understand what we're starting with, and then we can give you targeted tools and resources. What we know is, as owners, you don't have time, and I don't want you to get educated in everything, but we need to know what are the gaps we have to fill. What are the mindsets we need to change, right? What's the expansion that needs to happen, and how can we give it to you quickly and easily so that you can digest it and use it?
So let's talk about a perfect example of, like, for example, our current growth right now. We can use me as an example of this conversation. So, like, we're growing to a point where I'm used to being able to sit in every single seat and do every single job.
Yeah.
And now there's that discomfort as an owner to say, I have to actually rely on somebody else that I employ.
Yeah.
To do that job.
Go figure.
Do it better than me.
Go figure.
Or that they are going to know things and how to do it. And I don't know how to do that role. And it's a very uncomfortable position as an owner. Like, and it's funny because I talk to my husband and my mom about this all the time. I'm like, well, doesn't mean that Bill Gates knows how to put together the newest and greatest computer, but he knows how to find the right people to do that.
Yeah.
And with that, while that's a talent in itself to find the right but for the right seat and the right talent for that role, there's also that fear as an owner of that now somebody has a little bit of control over you, or not even control, but knows something you don't. And I've always taken pride in what I do, is knowing I could sit in anyone's seat and do it, but down to, doing a roof repair if I have to.
Right.
And it gets to that uncomfortable point. What kind of advice do you have for that level of growth?
So that is such a great, that's the core, right? It's expanding your comfort level, being uncomfortable. That is growth. That is growth mindset. And it is really about understanding, why do I feel that way? That's the first question I sit with everyone.
So why do I feel that way?
You have to figure that out. I heard a lot of things, so I'm trained. We're trained to listen for keywords. I can give you a couple of keywords that I heard.
Go for it.
I'm used to being in control. Okay, so.
No, I'm just used to doing it all. I'm a Leo, so I'm used to being like the type A. I'll just work 52 hours a day if I can.
Sure. That's how you get successful, right? That's how you grow something this way, but you can't spread this way, right? And I would hesitate to ask, right? Or I would be curious to know, did that come with some challenges for you?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's a solution. That's a way to get things done. But there's a outcropping to that, right? Usually it takes up all your time. It takes up all your energy. It doesn't allow space for other things. And a lot of times our health suffers. Yeah. So when we take all of the ownership, all of the responsibility, and we put it on our shoulders, yes, we can get a lot done. But there's a great saying, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, go together. And I might not even have that correctly, right?
Whether it's right or wrong.
So whether it's right or wrong, that's the thing.
Absolutely.
And so you've done a great job of pushing something into what we would call the V shape. And what we're asking you to do now is to actually, and like all of your behaviors, your efforts, your mindset, all of the kind of underpinnings of you got you to a point. But now your growth is, how do we start to allow you to lead like this?
Correct.
Because this is how an organization grows out this way, especially
we're
with all the
here.
divisions.
We're actually kind of trending this way.
Well, the company
There's
is here,
a discomfort still
but what I hear
there.
is that your mindset is still down here.
No, I'm following this mindset, but my comfort level's still here of like,
Yeah.
it's just that it's not, I trust my team wholeheartedly with everything they're doing, and I have the right people.
It's you. Yeah.
It's me feeling like, I guess more of that, I want to know how everything works. I want to be able to do it. If it means I got to take a screwdriver myself, I like to know that we're doing that part on our own.
And I don't think that's uncommon. I mean, think about it. That is how you became successful. So you know one path to success. I do everything. I know everything. Right. But there are multiple paths to success that
there's a lot
really
of talent in this building
that you just haven't been introduced to. So it's really becomes a journey of you moving. There's a 3-step process, right? And it starts with just being curious and being in self-reflection and allowing yourself some time and space to be like, I'm just so curious. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
Where have I seen this pattern in my life before? We really just repeat patterns. So where have I seen this in my life before? Where do I see? I encourage a lot of times people to look around. Who else do you see that might be like you in this leadership journey that's kind of leading from that space? And start to just understand what are some of the reasons, right? And most of them are unconscious, meaning we don't have a lot of conscious awareness to them, and they're driven more from an energy standpoint, which means their physiological response to stress. So anything new, unknown, or uncomfortable actually activates your body's protection system. So it is designed to keep you safe. And when something feels unsafe, it's going to do exactly what it's programmed to do, which is just more of the same.
Yeah.
Or like just shutting down.
I think I know, actually, while we're talking about it, I feel like we're in therapy right now.
We could be. Yes, it's very much like that.
I feel like the reason why is because over the years, I mean, I've seen people take advantage of my father in business and over the years, I've seen it happen where I've trusted the wrong people, and I have the mentality as an owner that's both good and bad. I don't see bad in people until they show me they're bad. And sometimes it's not a good thing because, I do follow my gut, but sometimes I want to give people an opportunity. And I feel that let's build an opportunity together. I'm an opportunist. Yeah. But sometimes you give the wrong people that opportunity, or and I think that's where,
so
you get that little bit of an isolation of like.
So that's just a proof story, right? So I had a situation, there was an emotional charge to it, and it created an energetic loop. That's all I would call that. Right. And it created more of a negative or heavy energetic loop because it didn't go the way you wanted it to. And it gets to kind of the core of this trust. Because then, right, the question you're actually having with yourself is, maybe I can't trust myself.
Yeah.
And now we're like off kilter. But there's one thing I would say I'm huge on. We have actually energetic scales in our organization that measure the frequency of words. So the heavier a word choice is, the less it's going to allow you to have a growth mindset or to be in like high vibe growth. Okay, so when you said I gave somebody a chance, and what did you say? They revealed them true self. Like they showed me their worst, or they showed you what was the word?
I give them the opportunity to.
And they showed me what? What was the word that you said? You said they showed me their worst. They showed me their worst selves. I'm going to encourage you to change that one word. And going to say, they showed me that they were human.
Okay.
Right? Because that's it. None of us are perfect. We do things for all kinds of reasons. We almost never know the reason why.
Yep.
We might come up with one or two. Maybe we're right. But in reality, we really don't know the intention behind somebody. And this is going to sound maybe like the oddest thing you've ever heard. But if you're going to say that to me, I'm going to say, then you should probably lean into it. But the heart of that is forgiveness. And the person you're actually forgiving is yourself.
Which I've found that I do.
Right?
I do.
Yes.
And I've kind of come to terms with things, and and we move on from those things.
Exactly. So I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
I wasn't wrong. This was the right person. It probably wasn't the right time for them.
And I think that perception's a big thing too. Because, somebody's perspective of a situation is not going to always be yours. And I think some of the hardest decisions as business owners you have to make are business decisions, and not decisions from your heart and, trying to not hurt people's feelings. And that's definitely something.
Yeah, it's like
my
really
father and
messy. It's like really messy in there. You know, it gets, so we talk a lot about, actually was just invited, just on Monday, it was so much fun to get invited to a college. They're teaching a class on intentional decision making. And I'm like, oh, that's the heart of what we do for business owners. I'd love to come teach you our energy management practices. Because remember, we don't actually make conscious decisions. There's a lot of range in number, but safely you can assume at least 50% of the time. And then if you're under stress, that number goes up even higher. You're actually making a decision from a space of unconscious prior association is the best way to put it. So we're actually not making logical decisions. We're making emotional or reactive decisions. So that's why so many things can influence and color us. Yeah. But once you get really good at kind of being discerning about where is it just my energy being out in front of me, being out behind me, right? And how am I actually getting to the space where I'm actually making a logic-based decision? Yeah. A lot of that goes away. And it starts with just having that very conversation. So again, like in our organization, like this is what we're designed to do. We have scales, we have models, we have assessments so that we can give people a profile and help them understand where they are on the journey. Yep. But if I were going to share with your audience, like obviously not everybody's going to work with me, but you can actually do some of this for yourself, which is really fun. So here's the first AI prompt, and I'm going to give all of you this. I'm going to give these to you. So anybody that's watching and wants these prompts, you'll get them. But this is exactly what I would go to any AI that you have, whatever you're using. Build me a success profile for an executive leader in, and then put your industry and put any kind of specifics about your industry. Are you a new business? Are you a growing business? Are you a long-term business? Give a little description in there. And I want to know what are the skill sets and executive behaviors that would help me to be successful in this position.
I love that.
Okay, so just with that little bit of thing, you'll get a checklist.
Really?
You'll just get it, and you can say, give me a checklist. Give me a list of items. Give me a checklist.
I know what my late night homework is going to be tonight.
And then I just, so leadership growth is just about self-reflection. It's about learning to understand and see yourself in a different light. Yep. And so just take I like people writing, and just go and be like, label it high, medium, low. Don't yes or no, maybe, but like, how do I rate myself under this? High, medium, and low. And start to use that then as, okay, so and then just pick the one you want to work on. It doesn't matter. Like in growth mindset, you can't work on the wrong thing. Yes. Changing one changes them all. Yep. So pick the one that, to me, I like people to pick the one that looks like it's most fun. Okay. Or it would be most joyful. Because that's the thing you're going to spend more time with. Yep. Okay. That's great. Then you can start looking up tools and resources and things to actually solve that problem. So if nobody does anything else, like you always start with you. So when you own the business, when you lead the team, you set the standard. Yeah. And you set the pace, which by the way, most normal people can't keep up with our pace. No. So like one of the games we play, what I play with my clients all the time, is they call me and they say, is it me or is it them? It's a game we play all the time. Is it me or is it them? Like, who's the problem? Yep. Is it me or is it them?
In most cases, it's us. But that's why it leads back to the tip of the V, because that's where you're like, hey, I get stuck here.
I get stuck. This is where I'm stuck. So we have to just, shift the V.
Well, because I think with personalities like similar to ours, we're at that tip of the V a lot of the time, and you get stuck there simply because you want to be able to, the level you can work and the things you can perform.
Exactly.
And you have to realize, if you can realize early in life that not everybody is you and not everybody can perform like you.
Yeah.
And not everybody
wants to. I agree with that even more. I believe people underperform for a lot of reasons, and that the hallmark of, progress is not that they can't, is that they just don't want to.
But many people don't, or they don't have the same.
They're in a stage and phase of life. Like I had a very successful career in, as the head of an org chart in learning and development in some of the biggest organizations in the world. And I worked 80 hours a week and I flew all over the world. And when I had my children, I wanted nothing to do with it. Yeah. And I went back to making $60 an hour as an instructional designer, and I worked 5 or 6 hours a day. And that was just how I wanted to spend my time. Yeah.
And
so
like I said, that's where
I
the
was
perception
way
comes into
under
play.
my potential and what I could do,
But it was what worked for you at that time.
but it was exactly where I wanted to be. And I was always so grateful that I had I made the choice. You know, most people don't think they have the choice to actually do that either. So,
so just before we wrap up, what is one thing that people don't realize that makes the biggest impact?
Okay, this is a great question. I struggled with this one the most, so this might be why it's coming up. But I just didn't see the value in telling my story, right? Of like how my business grew, why my business grew, who we were really for. To me, I just wanted to make the sale. I was really just interested in being much further down the road. And I just didn't value being able to tell the story and connect with people. And so I got to give a shout out to, our brand leader, Phil from PH Consulting and Media. He rebranded me about 2-3 years ago and has continued to help me tell our story of Disruptive Spark and my own personal story. And I would credit that with my best business growth over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
and it was a really
great advice, actually.
It was such a painful thing because I felt like I was investing money and not seeing the result.
Yeah,
and I'm impatient. So
most of us with our personality are.
I didn't value the journey. I didn't necessarily value the investment. But now that we've done it, like now that I'm on the other side, I will tell you that that's the one thing.
So it's interesting you say that because that was something that I've actually overcome over the last year or so. I was for a while like the misunderstood person in the industry. And I think many times I still am. I think people don't realize, my intentions are always good and that the way that I like to bring companies together, and I don't like to work against my competition. I like to work with my competition.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people understood that. I mean, I got a call last week.
It's a very different leadership style from what we're used to seeing, especially in the trades as well.
Yep. I mean, performance incentives, being able to tell my sales reps that I encourage you to work with other companies and just don't take my leads there. And I don't want their stuff. Like keep my stuff.
Yeah.
And I had an owner call me and he's like, why would you ever tell your sales rep it's okay for him to work for me? And I was like, because I know the law. So, there's so many things we're balancing here, and at that point, it's like my biggest obstacle I felt in that, and that's why I wanted to ask you this question, is the story. My story seemed very confusing. People look at what we do here and they're like, oh, she's going in so many directions. Why does she do this? And why is she doing that? And I just went for my real estate license. Another thing? Yeah, and I'm going for my master's come January. Why? Because they don't understand my story. They don't understand why I own a building supply and a solar company and service and maintenance and monitoring and why we do wholesale and why we do retail and why we have all these divisions. Not realizing I don't own a deli anymore. But I don't own a deli. I don't own a hair salon and a daycare and a construction company.
Yeah.
Everything we do feeds one another. And when people understand that behind the scenes, the problem is getting that story out is very tough. And then I have that second obstacle of being a woman in this male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
Where I'm confident I can do a lot of things and things just make sense naturally to me.
Yeah.
That could be discouraging, and
to you?
No, to other people.
Okay.
And to me, nothing's discouraging. To me, everything's an opportunity, and every challenge is another opportunity for me.
Yeah.
I like to find problems in my industry and build a business around the solution. And maybe it's just that the people that have that, either I've accepted that the problem there is not me, the problem's them. If they have the negative things to say of, oh, she's going in too many directions, to me, that's a jealousy thing. To me, it's, well, you could do the same things, you just choose not to. And maybe jealousy is not the right word, but like a lack of. It
depends on the source. Are we talking about fellow business owners or are we talking about customers?
Fellow business
Because from a customer standpoint, a confused mind always says no. See, that's a problem you want to solve.
Yes.
If you're confusing the customer because you have too many lines of business, that's a different conversation. But if you're confusing other business owners, I mean, who cares?
That's
right,
and that's where it comes from.
Who cares? Like, who cares?
Yep.
They're confused because it doesn't make sense to them.
Yep.
And I think you would be the type of person that would just say to them, "Listen, let's have a coffee. I'm happy to explain it to you.
And I do.
This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. If there's something you can take from it that's going to help your business growth, great. If it's not, that's okay too. But kind of letting some of that noise just
it's been something
not be
that
distracting is a really great
I
growth
used
lesson.
to let it distract me.
Yeah, it's very
Now
distracting.
It's I don't let it phase me.
So I just turned 55. Yeah, my
Happy
birthday was
birthday.
just this week. I just turned
Happy
55,
birthday.
and I did a nice like reflection, like things I wish I knew at 25 than I knew at 55. And you and I are very similar in this instance. So there's a scale that actually predicts who is what they would call an innovator. So there's a 5-point scale. Truly on the innovation side is less than about 5% of the population. So there's early adopters. I kind of flip between both, but I do, I'm probably a little bit more of an early adopter, but I do land in this innovation skill in some spaces. So the problem is that means that 95% of the people have no idea what you're talking about.
Correct.
And
Which
you're,
I find myself in many
and
many
you're
times
kind
a
of
day.
out here like on your own, and it's very easy. And I think for women, I'm just going to add that even easier. I'm watching my 13-year-old daughter go through this right now. The thing they don't want to be more than anything in the whole wide world is different. And I don't know how we help that, right? Or
Which
like,
is because
right?
when you get older, you're like, that's all you want to be.
Well, but it's so hot. Like you have to gain back all that time. So like so anyway, to get to the point of the story is, you think there's something wrong with you because you're thinking differently than everybody else. So that was the self-reflection that to me, I wish when I heard myself say, Susan, that's crazy. Or someone else, Susan, what are they thinking? Nobody can do that. That's crazy. Like I would believe them. And now what I would tell myself is it's just an indication that you're actually working towards your true potential.
Yeah.
Even though that potential might not even exist in the world right now.
Yeah.
That's a true innovator.
And
like that potential doesn't even exist.
It's interesting you bring that up and bring up your 13-year-old daughter, because I had that issue when I was younger, and I graduated high school at 16. I graduated with my bachelor's at 19.
I mean, these are normal things.
Yeah. And I was down to teachers. I had a teacher when I said that when they announced that I was graduating a year early from high school, I had one of my teachers look at me and he's like, what do you think one day you're going to just land your helicopter on the roof of the building? And now I'm like,
why not?
I can't wait.
I hope that's still in your I hope that's still in your mind.
That guy is to me, those are motivators for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I think that's an issue with the earlier kids coming up and developing into high school and going into college, that there's not enough people encouraging them that it's okay to be different and it's okay to make these different decisions, and where that's going to take you. Yeah. I foster that with my kids.
Yeah, me too. So I love it. We could talk about this forever.
We could talk
but
all
I
day,
hope that somewhere in either in your mind's eye, or I would actually have it like drawn. I would like of you landing on a helicopter pad. Like you have to make that real.
Yeah.
Like you really have to make that like literally real. And the first way to do that is to put something on paper. That I could totally see, like,
it was interesting.
That's a total vision.
Around in the other side of the office, you'll see I have this giant whiteboard, and it's like our vision board of like what I want for the businesses. And at home, I have like the more of like a personalized vision board. Yeah. And and it's funny because tonight I'm actually going out to dinner with two of my friends from high school that I haven't seen in forever, and I was bullied through high school. Because of
bet, yeah,
and it was
because
and I was the
they were just
lacrosse,
reacting like to your bigness. Yeah, that's another thing. Like women were really not supposed to be big.
Yeah, and I remember so when I first started working with my dad, I remember going and having to do a roof on a girl in high school.
On her house.
Dad's house.
I can almost imagine.
And now, so funny story. So her Audi that Daddy bought her was sitting right in the driveway, and I had to have her dad move it out of the driveway. And here it's a Saturday morning, and they want to sleep naturally. And I'm out working on a Saturday morning, and she came out screaming her head off. And I said, listen, you have one of two choices. Your dad needed to move your car. And she's like, she grabs her keys to drive it back. And she just was pissed that I was there. And I was like, sorry, like this is who your dad hired. I'm sorry. Like I get it. You don't like me, and I'm okay with that. But I think that's another thing, is like accepting not everybody's going to like you. And so she grabbed her keys and went to go drive back in the driveway while we're literally ripping the roof off of the house. And I was like, yeah, so you have one of two choices. Either the car stays out there, or the shingles are going to fall on your car, and I'm not going to be responsible for that. And she started screaming at me in the street, and it happened to be my niece came to work with me that day, and she's yelling at me in the street, and I'm just calm. And she's like, "You're a powerhouse like you were, and like you just walk around like you're a powerhouse like you were in high school anyway." And I was like, "Thanks."
Yeah,
Like,
thank you.
I'm just here doing my job, but okay. Like,
And
why don't you go back to sleep? Because
like, you know what would be such a good comeback? Like, I love comebacks afterwards, but you know what? I'd be so tempted. Would you like me to show you how?
Yeah.
And just be quiet, because that's really what she's saying. Like, you're being something that I don't believe I can be. I don't know how to be. Like any of that.
About like, whether it's people in the industry, whether it's jealousy, or whether it's, hey, I don't want to put a lot of it is that they just don't want to do the work. This is not easy. This is a lot of sacrifice. This was 4-day-old babies strapped to me at work. This was babies in buckets. This was
I'll tell you,
selling roofs while I was literally.
I've said a million times, I wish I didn't care about what I do. Like, I wish I didn't care. I wish I cared less.
I love what I do, so
I do too, but it does create a lot of problems in my life too. There's a lot of fallout that comes with really being very passionate and driven about what you do. It does put you in financial spaces. Like, it does create sacrifice in other spaces. Like, it's not easy to be this.
No, but you have to have that. You have to be able to have the balance.
But for you, for me, like, there's a reason. We have a reason why.
100%.
And so that fuels it.
Well, how do people people reach out to you? How do they contact you?
So the best place is disruptivespark.com. So that's the company. We're on all your basic social channels. So just find us at disruptivespark.com. I do have 3 of my favorite prompts that we use with our clients. Like, we don't even try and make this up anymore. We just get to the root causes and find solutions super quick, so that we can spend your money where it really counts on actually like implementing, piloting, and solving the actual problems. So these are 3 great prompts to the most common business mistakes, which is we're not expanding ourselves, right? The one we didn't talk about is marketing. So the biggest thing with marketing is you're just spending time and money in the wrong place. Like, you're pulling levers and they're not actually the right lever to pull. So AI really helps with that. And then this last one that we were just talking about is, how can I use AI to help tell my story? Because you can't tell it from your point of view. You have to tell it from the receiver's point of view. And it's almost impossible to do that for yourself. But AI can make the translations for you. Right, so it just becomes super easy.
Maybe you could.
Yes, I have a great graphic. And so anybody who wants it, just comment graphic, and we'll send it to you.
We love it. All right.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Every time we're together.
I know.
It's awesome.
It's fun. I love it.
So we'll do this again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.